Well, thank you so much, Pastor Mike Fields, for joining me today. We're talking about how the COVID-19 has affected Triumph Church and churches all over America, really. But now we're in the next phase of opening things up here in the city of Vicksburg. That phase looks like 50% of capacity of the members are able to come back to church. What does that look like for the church?
Well, obviously we do two services on Sunday morning, and we really feel like that 50, it's going to be very easy for us to do a 50% type capacity service because of the seating we have. We have individual theater type seats in our auditoriums. We actually have 503 seats, so it's going to be pretty easy. We've already been mapping out how we will be able to rope off certain sections and to make it kind of spread people out, and where it won't feel like you're too far apart, but you're actually a safe distance from one another. So we don't see that as being a real challenge for us.
And so I've talked to a lot of other people, and I believe that they are finding it a challenge to make this thing happen. Some things that they're afraid of, we talked about, is them having to turn some members away. Is that something that you feel like you guys may face?
I don't anticipate that. We're not expecting everyone to come back on that opening Sunday, whenever that might be. Certainly not at one time. We have a strong online service. We've streamed our services online for a number of years, and of course, it was thank goodness we had that technology and equipment that we were ready to go the first Sunday out of the gate, so to speak, under the quarantine, and so our audience our congregation has done real well with the online experience. Again, we do that on two different service times. So again, people kind of pick the service time they want to watch online, and so I would expect that a good percentage, I have no way of knowing, but I would expect a pretty good percentage of our church will continue to watch online for a bit longer, especially those maybe more senior in age, or those that have obviously some kind of condition, pre-existing condition that might warrant them to be a little more careful about getting into a large gathering. So I would think that, the Sunday we open up, whenever that Sunday is, that we're not going to see anywhere near our normal attendance. And we're okay with that, because we feel like those people will continue to watch online. We're gonna continue to make our online experience a high priority, so people feel if they have any reservations or any concerns at all about coming in person, that's okay. Continue to watch online, and we'll continue to engage them that way. And so, we're going to be ready for. You always want to be ready for the unexpected, and we're gonna be ready to accommodate. But I just don't see, with the two service option, and considering, people coming back more or less in phases rather than all at one time, I really don't anticipate having to turn anyone away. I really can't see that as a possibility.
Now, as members start to kind of trickle in, and some will maybe flood, depending on the scenario, what will a typical Sunday look like for the next couple of months that you and your staff have kind of planned out? Well, as members enter into the church, the foyer area, and then into the sanctuary, what does that look like for you all? What will that look like?
Well, we're going to do our best to guide and direct people without them feeling like they're being herded, and we've always had, we have parking lot greeters, we have greeters at the front door, we have greeters in the lobby. As you come into the auditorium, we've always had greeters in place. We will continue to have those greeters in place. Their responsibility will be to safely move those people. We're obviously going to direct people in one area and have them exit in another way, so that we have minimal crossing of people, as people go and come from the building. And so we're working on those things. In fact, we've been, kind of mapping out, and we're going to be putting our leaders in particular places to make sure people kind of move in a direction. It'll kind of be a little bit about maybe a little bit like going back to school, and being directed. But again, to my earlier point, we don't want people to feel, we don't want it to feel uncomfortable or like they're being over-directed. We feel like that we can move them in and out, keep them distanced apart, get them to their seat. Obviously, families will sit together. There'll be adequate spacing between families and individuals that may be by themselves, obviously adequate spacing between them. We're going to ask people to wear their mask until they get to their seat, and then obviously we feel like it would be okay for them to take it off at that point for worship. But that's up to them. We're going to certainly have all of our staff, our volunteers, our leaders, all of them in mask, to make sure as they direct people and interact with people coming in and out of the building, that we can do that in a very safe manner.
And so what has this looked like for the last couple of months for Triumph Church, this pandemic, the coronavirus? What kind of stuff have you guys experienced during this time?
Well, with our online presence, we were able to continue our online Sunday services, and we didn't really change anything except maybe shaving about 15 minutes off of that service time. We felt like that, our services normally last traditionally about an hour and 15 minutes. And so we tried to round it down to about an hour. We don't always hit it on the button, but about an hour, because we felt like, when people engage online, they like those rounded time slots, and so we can keep their attention and keep them engaged for about an hour. And so we didn't really change anything. I mean, live worship from the stage, full band. I still preach from the platform, and I dress like I'm at church on Sunday. We kind of felt like, I've seen a lot of churches do some really creative things, and we really learned a lot from that, and really appreciate the creativity that churches has used and demonstrated during this time. With our Sunday morning service, we've done some other, more or less some informal chats and roundtable kind of services that we've done with, kind of in the lobby, sitting in the couches. But traditionally, we've kept it as normal as possible. We felt like with all of the unnormal, the abnormal things that are happening in our lives, if we could keep that Sunday experience as normal as possible for people, it would be a help. So we've done that, and even with our online experience. And so we're going to just continue that when people start gathering again. Our services, again, will be a little bit shorter to make sure, mainly to make sure that we have enough time to sanitize the building adequately between services and restrooms and things like that, because we'll continue to do multiple services. Right now we do 2 services on Sunday morning. We are talking about adding a third if needed. In other words, if the crowds get too big in one particular service, we're just going to add another service time and ask people to adjust, because we really want to make it easy to get back to church.